What's up, everyone? Adam Engel, Dean Ruhl, Marcus Trevino coming at you virtually from Zoom in our respective dorms/apartments in Stillwater, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State. They go on the road at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, win their first Big 12 duel of the season. 33-6 is your final. Marcus, Dean, boys, how is it going?
It's going pretty well, and I'm surprised we're even here. I thought, yesterday I was under the impression that we weren't even going to have a wrestling duel at all, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah, I mean, one is better than none in this situation,
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, that's very true because a few days ago we were expecting to talk about two matches, right? They were going to wrestle Northern Colorado and Air Force in a different place, about 120 miles north of Colorado Springs in Greeley, Colorado. But of course, COVID protocols and well, I guess it's not golden, just in the Bears program made that impossible. So, but here we are. Nonetheless, Oklahoma State, they do get a wrestle. They win big, 33-6. But in the first few matches, it looked a little rough for the Pokes.
Well, I think the problem was the scores table couldn't quite get the officiating down, but they figured it out. I mean, you had, Master Giovanni I don't think it was his best match of the season, but he still came out with the win. 133, went with Neiman again there, couldn't quite get it done. Anybody got thoughts on those?
Yeah, well, I was just going to notice, especially with Master Giovanni, so far this season, I mean, he has really strong defense, but you've seen his offensive scoring. I think tonight was the first match where you just saw him just grapple a lot more, than really he has the entire season. A lot of those first moves were, super technical, half upper body, trying to pull down his opponent. And it was tough. It was a slow start for Oklahoma State. And you could kind of sense, I mean, maybe the elevation a little bit, not in the higher weights, but in the lower weights. I think the elevation, especially, I mean, you have to remember Colorado Springs is like at 6,200 feet, something above sea level, something like that. So, it's definitely interesting for those guys to go into a different time zone in about close to, more than 5,000 feet difference and wrestle.
Yeah, but I mean, I think something worth noting is, outside of those, while still kind of staying with those lower weight classes, Cade Brock sat this one out. They put Dusty Hone in. He couldn't come up with the win in his match. I'm not sure why they sat him. I think that's still up for speculation. That's something we don't have an answer for just yet. But he didn't look terrible, I will say that. I think he made some good plays. Might just be they want to give Brock a little breather. But I think it's up for debate on what exactly he didn't play in this one.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with Dusty Hone is he literally lost at the buzzer. I mean, there was 2 seconds left. Lenny Peterson of Air Force earned the late takedown to tie 4-4, and of course there was that lengthy review. The call stood because of the takedown. It was 4-4, but because of Peterson's riding time, he gets the advantage, and he won 5-4. So it was literally, a buzzer-beating victory for Lenny Peterson. And at that point, that victory gave the Falcons a 6-3 lead. But then luckily for OSU, think about that. Air Force led 6-3, but OSU won the final 7 matches in a row. That in itself is pretty impressive to just really crush the Cadets 33-6.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway. You guys are talking about, these lower weight classes, how they struggled. And then by the time the night's over, it's like, OSU blew them out again. They finished the last 7 30-0. Like, big deal. Okay.
Yeah. And, well, Dean and Marcus, something I wanted to touch on, too, is so Dakota Gear, he's ranked 6th right now by Flow Wrestling. He got another huge tech fall victory. I think it was I'll actually have to look it up. But the thing is he has 3 consecutive victories, his last 3 victories are all in Tech Fall form. So very impressive with that offensive power. Okay, here's what it was. Dakota Gear has outscored his past 3 opponents 58-10. That in
I mean,
itself is pretty impressive.
that's dominance at
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, we talked kind of before the season started. He was wrestling 197 last year,
Mm-hmm.
and after we initially started at 184, moved up to 197 during the season, and now that he's kind of coming back down to 184, I think that's his spot. I think that's the weight he needs to stay at.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's what this season proved, that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you ask, at this point of the season, who has been the most impressive wrestler of the whole season, you'd have Dustin Plott and you'd have Dakota Gear. Those are the two that really stand out in my mind, at least.
Well, yeah, and then in my mind too, honestly, Austin Harris as well. Really, he's he's improved immensely. And Dean, you talked to him earlier this week for that article you wrote, which, by the way, go check it out. It's a good piece. But yeah, he realized, he's like, okay, man, if I'm gonna help this team, search for a national title, search for their 9th consecutive Big 12 title, I need to do my part. I need to go in the weight room. I need to, eat some more, diet, and just really help the team. And that's exactly what he's doing so far for his heavyweight responsibility.
Well, yeah, he's another case of, you got a guy that comes into the program, kind of bounces between that 174, 184 weight class, moves up to 197. And then he said last year he talked to Coach wanted him to move up to heavyweight. And while he kind of initially struggled there at first, he's 5-0 this season. He hasn't lost a match. He's already matched his win total from last year. And, I think he's confident with that, wrestling in that heavyweight spot.
Absolutely.
This was probably his best performance this year, 12-2, first extra point victory he's had all season. I think he's found his mojo for the season.
Absolutely. And so next week, which we'll get into it more, we're going to actually release you deep dive doing the podcast this week, but it's arguably the toughest 2 duels of the Oklahoma State season next Saturday in Iowa. Also in COVID, because Big 12 is only allowing them to wrestle 1 day a week. You add this another crazy wrestling schedule is that they go wrestle Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls in the morning, and then after that they drive. Okay, forgive me. I think it's from Cedar Falls. I think it's north to Ames, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, they drive to Ames after they wrestle Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls.
Yeah, that's such a crazy thing. You don't I can't think of any sporting event at all where you participate at the beginning of the day and then you have to pack up and travel to participate at the end of the day. And that's happened several times this season. You have Bedlam, which is in Norman, and then they come back to Stillwater to wrestle again. That's crazy to me.
Also, yeah, forgive me. I'm not 100% on par with my Iowa geography. So Cedar Falls is slightly northeast of Ames. So they'll go south. They'll go southwest to play Ames, to wrestle Iowa State.
Yeah, I think I agree. That's going to be probably the toughest matchup they have this year, are those 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else we got,
those
boys?
are 2 of the toughest.
Oh, yeah.
I think on a closing note, just a little sidebar. Jalen Harper has now won his past 3 straight matches at 157, kind of filling in for Wyatt Sheets. The way Coach talks, it sounds like Sheets will be back maybe next week. A little vague.
Yeah,
but he's been traveling with the team, so I think you should be seeing him maybe in the next week or 2.
And we're inching closer and closer to Dayton Fix's return, so that has me most excited about this season.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. It's January 22nd, and he's eligible February 11th. So yeah, we are getting
we got
very
19
close.
days left. This is the
Yep.
Dane Fix countdown.
The countdown is on. The countdown is on to get your fix.
There you go.
I had to do that. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching / listening. Keep an eye out this week for another episode. I believe it'll be the 6th.
Guys, hold up. Before we close,
Okay,
I just got a
6th Mad
text.
podcast.
I got a
yeah,
text. Hold up.
All
I
right.
got a text. I know why Cade Brock. I now know why Cade Brock did not wrestle.
Okay.
Reed has texted me that Cade was banged up and they wanted to play it safe with him. So it was just
Okay.
a rest week for him.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Just a rest week for Cade Brock. So, yeah, we will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.